Hey everyone, just your average race fan here, and you love to talk motorsports, get that noise, then this is the channel for you. Go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video if you know other people in the motorsports realm or that would love to, to get to know more. Now, this video may be more geared towards the beginner fan, but some of you veteran fans might get something out of it. You might get something you never knew before. So today, we're going to be talking about the flags, what they mean, and why they can be thrown. So as I said, today we're going to be talking about some of the flags. This will be so the beginner fans can kind of get a little bit more knowledge to build their experience, because hey, that is what it's all about. It's the experience that matters. So let's make it a good one. So on this little rack, we have, a row of most of your typical flags that you're going to find at the racetrack. Now, a lot of you all can guess which ones, or what this is thrown for and what this is thrown for. But sometimes the flags in between, they can be a little bit confusing, or you might not know why they would get thrown. So that's what we're going to go over in this video. So let's just start out with, the obvious. This one right here. I don't have to tell you what this is. This is a green flag. I got a big one behind me, and obviously there's a big checkered one over there. So a lot of times, people know that green is for go. Same at your dirt track. This flag will start the activities. It will start the race. Now, sometimes what you might see happen with this flag is they will, take, for instance, hot laps. You might see the flagman doing one of these numbers. He might have it and, be going like this. And that just tells the cars to come on, get up to speed. We're about ready to start hot laps. And then once the flagman thinks that, they're good to go, they will throw the green flag and hot laps or the race will begin. So another thing you might see when they're starting the race, like the heat races or something, they will give them the 1 to go sign. And a lot of times they'll have a 1, finger out, and they'll just dip the flag down like that. Just give them a 1 to go. Sometimes you might also see a track official down there on the front stretch giving them the 1 to go sign as well. And then once they come around, normally the track lights will go off and they'll throw the green flag and the racing has started. So that's what this is. Most people, I'm sure, know the green flag is for getting things started. So if greens go, then I really don't have to tell you what this one might be for. Obviously, it's a yellow flag, and this is a caution flag. So normally, a caution flag is thrown when there is a minor incident on the racetrack. Maybe somebody spun out, or maybe their car just kind of stalled on the racetrack and they need either a push start. If you're a sprint car, they need push started again, or maybe they need pushed back to the work area, back to the pit area. Now, normally what will happen when the yellow flag is thrown, the cars will continue around the racetrack at a nice slow pace. This allows the safety crews to get out there and do what they need to do. Most of the time, like I said, I'm not going to say it's a quick fix, but it's pretty quick. They'll push them out, push them off, or do what they need to do, because normally it's somebody that's just spun out or has stalled on the racetrack. Now, another reason they could throw the yellow flag to get everybody to slow down is debris. So sometimes if a race car loses a part, or if a piece of debris ends up on the track, they will throw the caution. Now, a lot of times at your local tracks, there will actually be debris. Unlike NASCAR, who throws, you know, allegedly throws the yellow flag for fake cautions, which nobody likes. I don't know why they do that. But anyway, I'm going to get off that soapbox. So the flag can be thrown for debris as well. That way, they can slow the cars down. Track crews can go out there, scoop it up, and then they'll throw this one back out there. Then they'll start the race again. One flag that you don't want to see throughout the course of the race, and that's this one, which we've gone over the green, we've gone over the yellow. So obviously, this one means stop. So what they'll throw a red flag for is there's been an accident on the track, and it's serious enough to where the safety crews are going to have to get out of their vehicles, or they might take a little while cleaning up. Normally, it's when a car rolls over or has a bad impact into the retaining wall or the guardrails or something like that. And the safety crews, it's going to be more than just a yellow. They'll want to go over, check on them, make sure they're okay. And most likely they'll have to bring the wreckers out and pick up the cars and tow them off the track. So it might take a little bit longer. Now you can have what's called an open red, where I've seen this in a couple different instances. So sometimes if it's late in the race and they've had a lot of cautions, they will throw an open red to allow the crews to come onto the track to refuel, to put fuel in the cars. And sometimes you can do some minor repairs to the cars. You can bend some sheet metal, do some minor adjustments. A lot of times they don't want you to touch the wheels or the tires. You can't change wheels, you can't change the tires or anything like that. But you can do some minor adjustments to the car. Like I said, sometimes they'll do open reds to add fuel if it's been a long race and there's a bunch of cautions and the cars have been just going around under yellow, for a long time. So that's what the red flag means. The cars, they don't have to stop like immediately. You don't see them just slam on the brakes, but you will see them come to a stop within a reasonable distance. They, as soon as they see this or the red light, they'll come to a stop. Most of them will shut off their car because there's no sense in wasting fuel. You don't know how long it's going to be. Obviously, if it's a sprint car, they have to shut them off anyway because they got to get push started to refire back up. Okay, so that's the red flag. So these next two flags, a lot of people might not know what they're for. So obviously this is a black flag. I don't need to tell you that. But the reason why this one might be thrown is because of either the driver's doing something unsportsmanlike, or they've cut across the infield and tried to get a shortcut. They've left the racing surface and they've done it on purpose. Or and like I said, unsportsmanlike conduct. They're out there just wrecking people. Most drivers won't do that because they don't want to tear up their car, but tempers do flare up sometimes in the motorsports world, so it can happen. It's not out of the realm of possibility. That another thing you can get black flag for is if your car becomes unsafe for the race. So before all the races, it doesn't matter, if it's the local dirt track or the big monster tracks in NASCAR, your car has to go through a technical inspection. And we'll do a video on that later on down the line. But it has to be deemed not only within the specifications of the race so it can be fair, but it has to be deemed safe. So all there can't be any loose metal or any crazy thing that might fall off. But during the race, if you do get damage to your car and you might have something that might look like it's going to fall off, they can black flag you and make you go to the pits. And, you're most of the time your night's done if it's a local dirt track because they're going to start the race and you can't really go back out there on a green flag. So that's what a black flag can be thrown for. That's what it is. This disqualification flag means you're no longer being scored. And it can be thrown for unsportsmanlike conduct or your car's unsafe. Now, one flag that you'll see in a flag stand that I don't have in my little flag set here is this one right here. So this is a slow traffic flag or move over. And a lot of times they will throw this flag whenever there's leaders coming up on the tail of the field. And it basically signals to those slower cars. They'll kind of hold it out there tight like this, and they'll wave it at those cars. And basically lets them know that, hey, you've got the leaders coming up behind you. There's some faster traffic. So be aware, you're going to have people coming up, kind of hold your line. Some drivers deal well with lap traffic and some drivers don't, and unfortunately, if you're a leader, that's just something, especially if it's a big feature race, that's just something you're going to have to deal with. So a lot of people ask, what's this flag for? That's what it's for. It's a slow traffic flag. Then we're wrapping it up here. We've got this flag, which is the white flag. This one signifies that there is one lap remaining in the race. So whenever you see this, who's ever on the lead lap, you got one lap left. Now, as a leader, that can be a big relief, but it can also be nerve-wracking. I've never been in that situation because I've never driven a race car in an actual race. But man, you got one lap to either hold on or one more lap to screw up. So, that you take it for what it is. But that's what this is. It signifies that there is one lap to go. After that one lap is done, you will have this one, which most people know is the checkered flag. This is the finish. This is, if you see this and you're in number one, then you have done it. You have won the race. This signifies that the race is over, So most people are pretty familiar with the checkered flag. So I don't have to explain that too much more than I already did. So, in a feature, like hot laps, you'll see this. Heats, you'll see this. But a feature, you might see like dual checkers, and they'll be, going. It's pretty cool. You'll be going. So dual checkers, but obviously I don't have to speak on the checkered too much. One other thing you might see that I might as well point out while we're talking about the flags. So a lot of times if they want you to go ahead and line up and double file and they want you to hurry up, they'll either do this, at the beginning of the race, and that signals to everybody, hey, come on, line up, or they'll do this, and that's like, again, it's like, come on, guys, let's go, let's line up, let's get in line. Another thing you might see, depending on the track, some tracks do it, some don't. Some sanctioned flagmen do it, some don't, but sometimes you'll see them cross the flags like this, and they'll hold them out over the canopy, the flag stand, and they'll just do that, and that tells the drivers that, hey, you're at the halfway point. This is a halfway point. So, like I said, I don't see them do that at every track, but I have seen some tracks do it. And I have seen some sanctioned flagmen do it. So it's just depending, just like everything else. But those are your flags in a nutshell. So now if you're going to the race for the first time, or if you've been to the races a couple times, you've got a little bit more tidbit of knowledge that you can add to your experience because, ultimately, like I always say, it's the experience that matters. So Go have yourself a good one.